Hi, this is Anthony Bonaspina from LI Tech Advisors. I'm the CEO and founder. And this is another LI Tech Talk. And today I'm introducing Kevin from American WorkFlows, who has a very interesting business and approach to be able to help his clients. And I would like to basically introduce Kevin and have him basically tell him a little bit about himself. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anthony. And thank you and your team, Lighting Advisors, for putting these sessions together. Much appreciated. And I'm happy to be here. My name is Kevin Deveji, and I'm from American Workflows Enterprise Software Company, also known as AWF. We are based in New York, and we have operations nationwide and globally. Fundamentally, we are an enterprise software publisher and distributor. So we make software for businesses in different sizes and in different verticals. I'm the manager partner of the organization, and which my team, we make software, our own proprietary software systems that has been, they have been in the market for decades. And we basically engage with businesses, manufacturers, aerospace companies, automotive companies, retail, and many other companies to help them digitize and automate their processes. That's fundamentally what we do.
Okay. So I'm a business, all right, and I really don't know what I don't know sometimes. And I have workflows and software and I'm growing and I'm like, help me. What's the first step? What do you do with a business like me?
Yes, that's a great question. So everything starts with the discovery. So discovery is basically could be as simple as a casual conversation that we have with a business leader or a business owner or a CEO, for example, or CIO, depends on who we are engaging with. We try to understand where they are as an organization. We try to understand their vision as a leader, where they like to take the company. And if they know what is missing in terms of utilizing technology to help them get there in terms of their goals, then we listen to them carefully. And in this, if they ask us what else they may also need, we also put into conversation what type of technologies are available, which ones will be really helpful for them in their competitive marketplace. So this conversation is very important. It is just like visit doctors sometimes having the conversation as to what they need. Sometimes they have an issue, but they don't know the root cause or they don't know how to solve it, or they know that they need a medicine, but they don't know which type of medicine that they need to use, right, from the medical terminology. We have these discussions with them to understand their pain points, their priorities. This is the first step to address your question.
Okay, that's good because again, I'm running a manufacturing company. I have a lot of employees and a lot of processes and procedures in place. And I hear about AI and I'm wondering if I should be utilizing it internally, how you're going to help us software wise. I'm going to end up with a data lake of information.
True.
And I'm like, okay, as the CEO, I'm like, my software I currently have is just not adequate to do it. I want something that I could see a pane of glass to see how well my company's doing. And I know that's the end product, but I have a lot of employees in the processes here. What are your steps you take that you're going to help? And
Yes,
don't forget,
absolutely.
I have some compliance levels I have to deal with as well.
Yes, that is true. We partner with the clients because this is a partnership. So this is a journey that we are starting. It starts with the discovery as to introduction their company to our company and understanding pain points and priorities and goals in a corporate sense. And then it's basically a lot of education, right? We are educating the client actually when we talk about it. So just like you mentioned, let's just talk about AI, right? It's an artificial intelligence and it's very common nowadays. But then you look at the AI technology itself, it's not something new, right? I was education event myself, for example. It goes back all the way to 1950s as a technology. For me personally, on a professional sense, I met with AI technology about 8 years ago. It was early time. Our compared to nowadays was really early in terms of the maturity of the technology and use, for example. So nowadays it's more affordable, more accessible. Do they really need it as a manufacturer in your question? Yeah, we discussed this. But nowadays, in terms of AI, it's case by case. In terms of AI, everyone needs AI. Then I can tell you right now, that's for sure. So for the manufacturing tool, they definitely need it. So the question is when they can really utilize it. So that may be in the case of customer relationship management, the engaging with their clients, for example, or that can be one of our expertise happens to be predictive and preventive machine maintenance management, for example. So they can utilize, very well versed in that. So they can utilize AI in terms of machine maintenance. So imagine you put sensors, which are very affordable nowadays comparison to 8 years ago. You put sensors on your machinery equipment, your, for example, motors, your HVAC units, your bearings, and other equipment that you have mission critical equipment. And then software listens, and then AI kicks in to start make predictions as to health of the machine. Whether it's going to be in need of maintenance, you can know months early. So right now the technology helps us let the client know 3 months early. They can let the manufacturing company know of particular equipment or machine that they are operating, they'll be in need of maintenance 3 months early.
That's amazing because I
It's
never
a
want to go
big
down
step. Yes,
as a
because
manufacturer. And
yeah,
even the HVAC, I mean, I depend on so many facets of the business to
mhm,
keep me running, from
yes,
cybersecurity to the physical building itself, to the employees, so you're saying that basically through this, through your systems and AI, I'm actually can get an idea of the overall health of my organization
that is true.
and
That is true.
use some
And you
predictive analysis so I can replace things
absolutely,
ahead of time.
absolutely. Because let's just continue for the manufacturer for a second. For manufacturers, downtime, meaning the time that machine doesn't work and it's not in service, is a nightmare, and that's unacceptable. It costs thousands or millions of dollars, depends on the size of the manufacturer and depends on the time frame that they need to be down, not very simply. This is unacceptable. So this is a nightmare. So to prevent this from happening, there are different practices that typical manufacturers do, basically. So they do maintenance, but typical maintenance, break and fix, something breaks down, and then they will fix it. So this is reactionary. It costs money, it costs time, and it's not the practical way of doing it. So the next step that's typically practiced is preventive maintenance, meaning you put certain rules in machinery or equipment health monitoring. So let's say temperature, for example. So the temperature of the machine needs to be in certain range. If it is out of range, it triggers automatic work orders, for example, in the form of alerts or in a software form of freedom work orders. So this is the next step. So what we offer, or what is offered with the AI technology, right, is the predictive maintenance, meaning we go beyond all these rule-based structures. We go directly watch the monitor the condition of the machinery, and then we predict months earlier what's going to be in terms of the health of the machine and equipment. So that literally eliminates the possibility of downtime. You have the heads up 3 months earlier. So you can put together your team members who's going to maintain it, fix your machinery, you can also plan your production is not going to be interrupted. And material, you need to also put together your spare parts to use them for maintenance purposes. Or man, machine, and material, three elements of maintenance, as well as manufacturing. You put them together months early. This is a great advantage for American manufacturers when we think about it, because there is massive competition going on right now against China, against global powers in terms of manufacturing. So these type of technologies in terms of AI, every single American manufacturer, they have to have this in some form. There is no other way that they can compete. So in that sense, having AI available here in US that's affordable, accessible, and practical is a great advantage for manufacturers in that sense.
So that's opens up a few things in my head right off the bat. Is that
Mhm.
all right? So you have a machine that's predictive. The AI is predicting failure, but is it basing it on its information from across the country or the world, basically, of other similar machines that have had similar problems,
Mhm.
and it's learning from those failures that when this happens, you have to replace or you have to do this ahead of time? Because if you're just looking at, you said the original thing was, all right, if the temperature goes up, but you're going much deeper than that now.
Yes, correct. So it's a combination of both, as in using the past data and also learning at the same time. So it's actually a combination of both. So we have the information of many machinery equipment to capture their vibration figures in terms of type of the machine and the history of what has been happening. We are also learning from the new machinery equipment as well in the form of vibration or temperature or humidity, for example. So the AI is in the artificial intelligence that keeps learning. That's an ongoing process, and then making analysis, and then comes up with a result as to what will be happening. So the main thing is the data. So the data coming from past is already helpful. Also, data that's constantly collecting from the machinery and equipment in the form of vibration, temperature, humidity, and other vitals, depends on the type of the machinery, is critical. So learning from the past, learning constantly as well, is actually happening in that type of
Okay.
technology.
And from a global standpoint of my entire organization now,
Mhm.
I would always looking to save money. Okay. Making
Yes.
things more efficient and so on.
Mhm.
Based on this, you're looking at all my equipment, you're looking at my processes, procedures. What do you do? Is it going to give me some suggestions as far as what I should do, as far as maybe I have the wrong people in the wrong roles? Maybe I need to hire more people, or maybe I need to replace some equipment with newer equipment.
Okay. Yeah, these are all righteous questions. So let's look at it step by step. First of all, these machine and equipment health condition monitoring gives us a suggestion that is something is wrong with it. So what is wrong is we also come up with some possibilities in terms of what it may be, the root cause. But at the end of the day, the maintenance crew on site, they have to put their hands on the system and find out. So the main advantage here is the saving the time and eliminating the possibility of downtime. This is the main saving. So follow up to this point, then what maintenance management leaders do, what they do is they collect with help of the software, they collect this data. What keeps
Mhm.
going down? What keeps breaking down? You have the frequency of certain machinery. You have the reasons you register in the system that there is a reason of the failure, for example. So
Mhm.
then you start making managerial decisions based on these database decision-making process. So then since I can now compare, hey, versus this quarter versus previous quarter versus last year, same time of last year, how often this machine is breaking down? What is the reason? Is it the belt? Is it the bolt? Is it other certain spare parts that's been breaking down? Then you dive in it. For example, that may be the supplier, maybe the quality of the spare part. Maybe we can try some other supplier spare parts for this particular. Maybe this is some sort of a monopoly that I can only get from particular vendor, that I have no other option. But then maybe I can maintain it differently. That I can maintain it more often. The frequency of maintenance can be increased. That's another possibility. Then I can also look at performance of my team. How are they doing? How often they maintain it? How quick they maintain it? We have the signals coming from the AI, for example, that something is wrong with the machine. How
Mhm.
quickly they report to the machine. So these are all traceable with the help of the software system nowadays that we have. So
Okay.
then you have all the vitals. What
This is
happened?
great because
Oh, yes.
yeah, I'm sorry to throw it because you're making me think like really
Yeah.
deep into this.
I
And I'm
love
saying,
it.
well, all
I
this
love it.
stuff in
Absolutely.
place.
Yes.
And I'm thinking
Yes.
to myself, again, CEO, manufacturing, and I get this order from the FDA. And it's okay. I gotta go and try to give them what they need. How is AI and how is this going to help me? How's your system going to help me with that?
Yes, that is true. So based on what I just described, right? Actually, system and technology, AI itself, it pays for itself in terms of money, in terms of time that you save, in terms of the downtime that you eliminate. But that's critical. On top of it, you can always monitor what is going on in terms of the health of the machine. You have all these graphics that we put together that always maintenance managers, plant managers can always see and monitor what is going on, but they can take proactive action. Also, that also helps the leader of the organization as well. Maybe CEO, maybe the VP of operations, depends on the organization. So they can see what is going on. Based on the scenario that I was just putting it together, now you can take managerial actions to improve. Maybe you are not breaking down that often, but improvement, continuous improvement is the strength of your manufacturing. It's also the philosophy of ISO 9001 in terms of quality and compliance management, holy grail, right? So then we are always looking for improvement, collecting this data, analyzing it, looking at it, analyzing it, comparing it. That also gives us as leaders to take action to improve processes. So this scenario that we just put together is triggered by AI. AI put it together, AI triggers it, AI announces it, AI sends the alerts, for example. And as a leader of manufacturing, I get these alerts, I get this data, and I can take managerial actions based on data. It's not about feelings or it's not about other observation. Could be the way tool you can make decisions for that too, but in this particular case, this is data driven, so very scientific. So then you collect this information very quickly, efficiently, economically, and it's very practical. So then very accessible right now for manufacturers in that sense. From a business owner point of view, having an AI in the manufacturing sense, put it into maintenance is a
Hmm.
must. Is a must. And it's literally life saving for
Okay.
function. Go for it.
All right. That sounds awesome. Now we have all these in place. You have these.
Yes.
What are you doing regarding like threats and so on? Like, how do you handle, because you have all this data now, and how do you protect it? Because manufacturers itself, you have this great machine going, and a cyber attack comes in, or even an insider, an employee does something inadvertently or intentionally. What do you have as far as assistance with that?
Yes. Well, it actually goes to the compliance and having certain policies and procedures in place. I'll give some examples from some of our clients. Most of our clients who are successful in terms of risk mitigation, in terms of cybersecurity and other threats, they do risk management proactively. So what they do is to best practice what they observe, and how they help them is actually they actually do risk assessment periodically with their departments as to what is actually happening in the market, what is happening in the industry, and what may be actually a risk, possible danger for the organization, and what they can do. So what they offer is actually software system that you help them put together policies, procedures, instructions, and training programs in place. So most of the best practices that we see in the market could be manufacturing, could be retail companies and professional service companies. What they do is they put together policies and procedures. How often they need to review the possible risks in the market. This risk may be in different forms. This may be a corporate risk. It may be an IT risk in terms of protecting the data that they have, for example. There may be a market risk and other risks that they may have. The aviation company that we are working with, they do aviation risk assessment, for example, in their line of business, for instance. So all these used to be structured. So structure is critical. And this structure consists of having the policy in place and procedures in place. How often are you going to do risk assessment? Who's going to be doing it? How often are you going to put these data together? And how are you going to take action? How are you going to train your team members? So on a leadership level, then you run the risk assessment. You come up with possibilities. This may be a risk. Hey, cybersecurity may be a risk. So what do we do? So we can have a cybersecurity system in place. The software-wise that may help. But more importantly, I need to also train my team members. How do they, as simple as, how do they how do they create their passwords? Where do they keep them? Are they writing them somewhere? How often they are changing? Right? As simple as these sharing data and keeping data in the sense of just passwords, or in the sense of just sharing data or not sharing data with other parties. As simple as is a training method. So the best practices we see in the market comes with these training structures, policies, procedures, structure, and training employees and associates periodically. Because risk change, and when the risk change, you need to take other actions to mitigate the risk, and you need to take actions to train team members. So creating these knowledge within the team is very critical. So what we do in terms of compliance is we help companies create these policies, procedures, and training programs in a digital sense, because everyone is busy and they have their day-to-day operations. So our software system, in our case, reminds them it's time to review their risk assessment findings that they done last quarter. We remind them periodic trainings. It may be training for cybersecurity, it may be training for safety, for OSHA, for example. So these are some of the things that we do with our clients.
That's interesting because you have each department doing their own risk assessment, and your software pulls it together. It sounds like. As the owner, I could look at an overall risk assessment, see where the weakest link of the chain is and where the money best spent is. It might be in a piece of equipment. It might be in training. It might be, and I'll look at the top 10 and say, okay, let's address these. And you might have 30 or 40 different risks, and you want to prioritize them and what will bring you down. What is the most, important one to address first? So that's very valuable. Again, minimizing downtime.
Absolutely.
It's key.
In addition, as we all know, businesses, they are also under audits. So this audit may come from authorities, that may come from other institutions that they comply with, whether that's ISO or let's say food and beverage company, SPF, or let's say medical device company, and so on. They get audits from those organizations, or they get audits from their customers. So with this structure, they address the risk, they mitigate the risk, they take action towards it. On top of it, they are ready for audit anytime.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they use
very
a structured
important.
software system that they
Yes.
can always present, hey, this is my compliance policy. These are our procedures. You know what? I actually improved my process. Therefore, I changed my instructions. This is the new version, which is available for my team members. The old version is just in archive anymore. Nobody can see it. But this is what I do. So you can also present your structure and latest records, what you do, to your clients as well as the authorities or organizations that's actually auditing you. So that shows that not only you do your job, you create the records, you take it seriously, and you put it in a way that is actually sustainable. That actually helps you make sure you have continuous improvement in place, and you can actually run your operations with the help of these records, regardless of who is in charge, regardless of which team is actually running the operations, because you have the structure written down, organized manner, supported by a software that keeps pushing you to make it fun. But this is really powerful to be a successful organization. That's what we see in the market that are among our clients too. They utilize our software systems. And we also learn from them too, right? Because they are experts also in their fields. So we combine their expertise, and then we bring our technology in the form of software or advisory services. And then we combine it in a way that creates value for their operations. That is where actually technology really makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It keeps driving us every day in terms of healthcare organization, digitizing and automating their processes.
Yeah, we're an IT company with technical advisors, but I go in, I go to every client, everything, every business is a technology business because they depend so heavily on it. And in your case, you're making it work extremely well for them because the technology in the business is, like you said, it's especially for manufacturing. They can't go down, and the technology that you're offering is keeping them going, is offering them a way to minimize the risk, minimize threats, and address the areas of concern. So this has been great. This has been very informative. I really appreciate your time. I've personally learned a great deal. I would definitely continue referring you out and so on, because this is a very unique solution.
Yeah, thank you. So what makes us different in the market is actually, especially in the case of our company leadership, we have hands-on business experience in the past. So working for manufacturing company, working for a distribution company, and then coming into technology, adapting to change and learning all new technologies is one of our expertise, so that we understand.
That's so important. And listening to your client. And letting them feedback to make you improve your internal organization and workings and software.
And we also get inspired by business leaders. As you well know, we are bringing new technologies to existing companies, and this is the change management in a way, and this is also leadership. So we also learn from other business leaders. I'm sure you also meet many other leaders as well. We also learn from their leadership style, how they actually utilize their troops, right? Get everyone together, motivate them. Bringing new technology is also a challenge for companies because they have a certain way of doing things. Now they gotta do it with the help of technology. They're gonna use more software. They're gonna use mobile devices, and it's a change. Sounds simple, but it is not, because they do things in a certain way for years. They've been successful, but for continuous improvement, they need to take it further. So this change requires leadership. So during this journey and these conversations we have with businesses, we also learn from them. And we also get inspired, and that basically keeps us going in terms of seeing the companies, they evolve. And that evolution with the help of technology is actually where we like to be going, certain business goals and milestones, and working with them in that sense.
Okay, this has been great. Kevin, I learned so much. And again, thank you for your time and joining our LI Tech Talk. Again, it's Kevin from American WorkFlows. Reach out to him if you have a business need, which I think most businesses can definitely benefit from his offerings. Again, thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure. Have a nice day.